Look, we got Magpie. Morning, Magpie. Would you like a biscuit? Come and get one. Come on. There's a biscuit. There's 2 biscuits. What are you going to do? Pick both? You going to fly away? Morning, Mel. Oh, here comes Mr. Crow. Yeah, mate. All right. Well, we woke up this morning and underneath the bum of the chicken, and I literally mean underneath the bum of the chicken, is a mushroom. It's a sign from God. How many chickens that size do you know lay mushrooms? It's true, I'm not making it up. Can I get any closer? Buffers. Oh, sorry about that. Maybe you can see the mushroom now. It's a big bugger. It's about 6 inches across. Hello? Hello? Ground control to Major Tom. Have you turned your internet on? Can you see the mushy underneath the chook's bum? Woke up this morning. Enormous. See, chicken manure does the job. Huge mushroom. Actually, there's probably a few down the back. But right there, before your very eyes. Right, whoop, whoop, big finger, big finger, big finger. Right there. And I believe we've got a meeting on Thursday of next week. High profile meeting. The echelon of the West Australian YouTube Association, apparently. Or was it Thursday? Thursday. Thursday.
What's Thursday?
Big meeting. With President Mel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Is Mel there?
I think so.
Morning, Mel. I just got up.
I'm not allowed to put the camera on her.
No.
She has her morning face on.
Yes.
Mel goes, "Wah." Shall I put it on her, Mel? Shall I
No.
work against the forces of evil and do it? I have coffee. It is a beautiful day though, isn't it, eh? How spoilt are we? Middle of winter, blazing sunshine. What is the temp? It says 8 degrees here. Probably a little bit warmer. It's probably 11 where you are, I reckon, off memory. That's what it would normally be. When we lived in Greenfields, it was about 3 degrees warmer. But that's the chook's bum, and the big news of the day, it's laid a mushroom. Here we are, take it out a bit. But look at that. This is an Australian winter. Yeah? Pretty tough to take. Blue skies.
Is it a crow?
Hang on, Mel's saying something. It's right next to the Perth Underground on the North Bridge side. Really easy to find. Oh well, I'll get the missus to remember that. Fees. What's fees? What did you confess? I know not what you talk of, Mel. Very chilly. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that was always good about Mandurah is that it'd be a bit warmer than Perth, but, hello Scarlett, but you get the wind before we do, so if you get wind and it's 11 degrees, it feels like 4 in Mandurah. But no wind, beautiful. No parking fees. Oh, okay, well, I'll be taking a bus anyway. We love taking the bus into the city because it's outside the front of our house. Takes us 15 minutes. We're in the middle of Perth. So I'll get you to just tell us which train station. If you take the train, no fees. No. But can you see, Scarlett, underneath the chicken's bottom? There's a 6-inch mushroom. Yeah. How many of your chickens lay mushrooms? Hmm? I won't be eating it because I don't know what chemicals are in the ground, if you know what I mean. I'm pretty fussy when it comes to things like that. When I set up my garden beds, no problem. I might even have a little room down the back to put a shed to grow mushrooms. Hello, Carlos. I don't know who Henderson is. I don't know why.
You do. He's
Is that like someone important?
He's been around for years. He's changed his name though. He went under someone else. Carlos will tell you.
I'm not interested. It sounds like a drama channel, Carlos. Could it be a drama channel? This is a drama-free zone. This is a bit like the old television stations back in the 60s. Welcome to the ABC. No advertisements. Just straight into it. Actually, someone was saying Hangouts are going to die shortly in their format, so I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably just have to do videos, which is okay. Wild morels, they're yum. I used to pick them up when I was a kid. Mine used, in the forest where I used to go, called the Black Forest in Yorkshire, they'd be about 5 inches tall, Scarlett, huge. My grandfather said, yep, they're good, grab them. All sorts of mushrooms, and he'd say, nope, don't touch them. No, morels got a real different taste, Mel. Where is the much rooms? Well, there's much room underneath the chicken's bum. That little white thing under the chicken bum is actually about 6 inches across, and it's a wild mushroom. Edible, but I don't know what was in the soil, so I won't be eating it. Good morning, keeping. How's your elephants? But growing mushrooms is not that hard. Plus you end up with, after each season of growing your mushrooms, you can put your mushroom compost through your garden. There's all sorts of mushrooms I like, but I do like, probably my most favourite is the most simple, it's just a Swiss brown. They're the ones I like the best. They've got definitely more flavour than a normal white button, there's no question there. And a little bit more strength in the mushroom. What I mean by that is when you cook a white mushroom, like a button up, it will sort of get floppy and fall apart, whereas a brown Swiss tends to keep it shut. What did you have for dinner last night? Actually, we had some, it was a TV dinner that I'd made about 5-6 days ago. It was gravy beef, so tender, unbelievable. Onion gravy, peas, carrots and roast potatoes. And how did that taste, dear?
Good.
Yes, the wife gave it the thumbs up. It was yum. Straw mushrooms. Yeah, I don't mind throwing them in. They've got a different taste. Every mushroom's got a different taste. Straw mushrooms are something I'll throw in a stir fry. Or just gently, braise them with a stock for Chinese like pho or Vietnamese pho, whichever way you want to call it. I'm keen on that sort of food. The wife's not keen on a bowl of noodles with a lot of stock. Braised steak. These weren't the braised beef ribs, these were braised gravy beef. Yum. So we've got another couple of them in the freezer. What did you have for dinner last night, Mel? Did you get the metal ones? What shop did you get them from? Because we can't find them in Coles. We had to go to IGA. And these ones are a bit big, because it's a big meal, isn't it, we had last night. We'd like it a little bit smaller. But
yeah, it's too big actually.
we'll have to hunt down because I often will make a big batch of food up, and it's something the kids can take to work. But if they go to work, most of them have only got microwaves, so I've got to do it in the. We've got hundreds of them, like Tupperware containers. But the ones that I like is to reheat slowly at about 140 in the oven for about 35 minutes. So I do like the metal ones for that. The red dot. Can you remember that?
Red dot.
Yep, red
there's
dot.
one in the city, isn't there, Mel? Is there a red dot in the city?
Hello, Hillbilly. Hey, my friend. Yeah, send Mystic a photo of them if you can, Mel. I don't know how many come in a batch, but normally it's 4 to 6. Chicken enchiladas, yum. Rice, beans, bit of hot sauce. You make your own enchilada sauce. It's nice making your own. Depends how hot you want it, of course. Some people don't like their enchiladas too hot. Actually, I might have to move so that sun's. I have to put my head over the camera. See if I do that? It gets a bit glary. Oh well, I'll have to use my buff head as a shade barrier. Yeah, so Hangouts, as we know them, are ending. I don't know what the alternative is. Hello, Terry. I'm sure we'll find out. We just use Hangouts to catch up with people, say good day. But in Western Australia at the moment, just letting you all know, that's our winter sky. Roughing it. Rolling atmospheric blue sky. Still, someone's got to do it. I think it's going to be 20. It was 22 here yesterday, Celsius, and it'll be 20, I think, or 21 today. So winter's a good time of the year here. Yeah. That's the difference. We don't get snow. Occasionally get a... Here we go. I'll keep quiet. Listen. No, they didn't go into... No, they were here earlier too. They didn't go into full song, the kookaburras. I'm sure you heard them though. Sent Mr. Seeds a pic.
I have
Mel
a look
says. So we're meeting Mr. Mel as well? Or is this, just a official meeting of the YouTube Association of Western Australia? Mel being president, me being vice president, Mr. Ganger being the Under Secretary of State. Right, let's have a look.
Compared to a box of tissues.
Oh, that's good. Gives us a comparison. Yeah, they're a good size. Al. Looks like there's about 8 in there by the look of it. And I got lids, obviously. He'd be at work. All right, in the future we'll catch up for a barbie. We've got most of everything we needed yesterday for all the bits and pieces inside the house. We did a bit of a big shop, didn't we?
Yeah.
So hopefully we hear news this week about final approval. That'll be good. I suppose we could go and pick out carpet this week too, if you wanted to. It's only the 2 bedrooms.
Maybe wait a bit for the carpet, I don't know.
Mel says 10. Oh, 10 in a pack. What were they, about $4, $5, Mel? That's it. You got it, Scarlett. $3, cheap. Cheap at half the price. Kookaburra sits in the old country. Yep. Bargain. 30 cents a container. Can't beat that. Saves doing dishes. It's hard to convince people, like going down, say, spending $30 on ingredients, but end up making like $20 worth, 20 meals. People go, oh no, I'll just go, and they'll spend $20 on a takeaway. I swear to you, my gravy beef with onion gravy, mashed potato, piece of carrots, you'd have to pay about $10 in a shop, at least, to buy that. And there was plenty of meat, plenty of veg, yum gravy. And the thing is, sorry?
Danny was in there. Did you see Danny?
No, hello Danny. I don't get to see all the text, I apologise. But yeah, if you spend a bit of time, maybe you spend a couple of hours cooking and packing the meals away, and all you have to do is pour one out the freezer the night before and put it in the fridge, let it thaw, put it in the oven, reheat it. Beautiful. And it saves a lot of time. Like when you, I would probably cook 3 or 4 times a week. Got home and Biz asked about the wooden box with holes, he said. I think you're talking about the generator box. Look, the first thing that you have to realise is that if it was a new vehicle, it might get away with it. But this thing is a rattling death trap. I've watched many videos where he's sitting and the camera just flops up, does this all the time. Now that vibration will go through to all of the vehicle. And I can tell you it's not legal in Australia to put a wooden box over a generator. In fact, you're not allowed to have the generator block the registration. That means you'll get pulled over and get a yellow sticker.
Yeah, it's easy, Mel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way to go. Yep. Just whack her in there. I like getting the beef spare ribs when I do my slow cooks because my daughter's 2 little chihuahuas, they just go ape over the marrow in the rib bones, you know what I mean? They become pre-mortal. When they get that on the ground, you can't go near them. Arr, get away. I don't care if you gave it to me, I'll take your fingers. Arr. No, so we've got a beautiful day again. Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy. But we'll be getting some rain, Mel, in about maybe tomorrow or the next day. Bit of a push up from the Antarctic again. Mr. Angel saw a roll cloud the other day. The biggest roll cloud we ever saw was in Mandurah. I don't know how long it was. It must have been 50 miles long, but it was huge. And it just rolls through the sky. Quite a phenomenon. And even that's hard to say. Just watching that cloud roll was just superb. I think we've got a bit of video somewhere, haven't we?
Yeah, on my channel.
On your channel. There's one on Mystic's channel of the roll cloud. I don't know where. It's got a lot of videos there. She's super popular, an international superstar. So you just have to fossick through the 5,000 videos.
Yeah.
You just name it Roll Cloud?
Yes.
Oh, Mystic Angels, Roll Cloud, and you'll see it. Probably the most spectacular thing I ever saw. I was doing some survey work at a city north of here, about 500 kilometres, Geraldton, and I was sitting on the beach with a mate and we were just having lunch. It was hot, sticky and humid, and I was putting in some details and the coordinates for surveying, and my offsider said, look at that. And I looked up, and probably about no more than half a mile away were 3 water spouts. We ended up watching one hit the beach and just drop tons of water, just carved a little sort of valley into the beach, and then the other 2 just disappeared. But they were huge, and it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It's obviously like a tornado, but just water, just unbelievable power. And I've seen a couple of tornadoes in my life in Australia. Not far away from Mel in Waroona, which is inland a bit. They tend to get them. Every year or so they'll get a decent one go through. A couple of houses were destroyed once when I went through there. Oh no, I was just amazed, Scarlett. They weren't fast moving, they were just powerful. The gas grill is shut, head off, went to bed. Yeah, you got to be careful with gas. Australians tend to have gas bottles. I could hook up natural gas down the back on my al fresco area that I'm building, but I don't want to. I just want to have a bottle. Yeah, we get them. Australia's a big country and we get tornadoes, but not in the frequency. They're usually very fast, can be powerful, but they're over within minutes. Not like ones in the US that go for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, destroy towns. There's one about 10 years ago. Remember that on the news in Scarborough Beach? Workers were doing scaffolding, and the tornado coming, and someone took a video of them, and they were flipped around all over the place, but they didn't fall off. They're probably 50, 60 feet up. Yeah. I bet they crapped their pants. But water spouts are enormous, is the only way I can describe it. And when you think the one we saw hit the beach, probably a couple of miles up the beach from where we were, the amount of water that's in the damn thing, because it just collapsed when it hit the beach. It was like, imagine throwing a bucket of water, big bucket of water, on the beach and creating a little channel. That's what happened. And I didn't have an iPhone back in 1980. I wish I had. Imagine the videos that would have been seen. In Port Douglas, oh yeah, up around Cairns, Port Douglas. Beautiful place, that though. I bet you missed that, Mel, don't you? I chased a tornado. It was headed towards my son's school. It went through my parents' yard. Yeah, the thing about tornadoes that I'm aware of is that they can stop and start, which is very unpredictable. If you could see something start and then it finished, but when it disappears back up into the cloud and you don't know when it's coming down again. Hello, Crystal. Fly by. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's terrible. I remember that incident, actually. If you're talking around the Mandurah area, there was one there. You don't muck around with gas, you don't muck around with kerosene. You make sure in a tent, oh, that's awful. I think that's the one I'm talking about. But yeah, just make sure, if anyone's got like barbecues and you're listening, and you're probably not, but if you were listening, your regulator, change that every couple of years. It's $20. Because that is a lot of the problems with gas barbecues sometimes. You know, regulator, I think it's $20 to buy a regulator, which is just the hose from the bottle to the barbecue. Because if you've got an old barbecue and you've got a 10 or 15-year-old regulator, it's not going to be efficient and it may leak. I used to make charcoal, Scarlett. It is the best cooking material by far. The heat is constant, you know, when you get it to the right temperature, and it lasts a long time. Do you remember when I cooked that stew on that little charcoal burner?
Yeah.
The heat went for about, I'm not kidding, for about 12 hours. It's a real good clean heat, but you've done all the work processing it, get to charcoal. Yeah, charcoal is excellent. In fact, if you ever make like kebabs up, you can buy yourself a little stainless steel stand where you can just have the, you know, like an Asian camp, just flip them over. Yeah, that's the one I remember, Mel. There's two things that don't mix. It's kids and barbecues. Nod to you, Mrs. C, says Free Birdie. Hello, don't nod to me then, Free. That's fine. Hello. bum. Well, there's two ways to get gas to a barbecue in Australia, and it's no different around the world. You have natural gas, the gas that's fed into your house. Sorry, Free, I'm only kidding. Hello. But you get the natural gas fed into your house, and that's a different gas than LPG. People say, why? I said, well, it is just how it is delivered. It's delivered in a different format. So the gas that comes into your home, I could extend that down the back and have that connected to what they call a natural gas barbecue. But I don't, and I won't, because LPG is usually in a cylinder. Trust me, a big bottle of LPG, you know, I think they're 10 kilo or 9 kilo. I can do 30 barbecues out of that. Plus, I've got control over it. If you've got natural gas lines running through your house, you may have issues, you may not. I just don't take the risk. So most Aussies have gas LPG bottles for their barbecues. No big deal. Every time you go to Bunnings, you can just swap it and get another one. Freeze day is winding down. Get ready for the heat wave. Yeah, we're shivering down here in 22 degrees Celsius today. Doing it tough. You can see it in your heart. Sound a jumper. We may be able to make it through this freezing 22 degrees Celsius. It's about 70 degrees, I think, or 75. But that's the middle of winter here. We just got to put up with it. There you go, Free. There's a stormy winter's sky. Terrible, isn't it? And for those that don't know, right there, underneath that clay chicken's bottom, is an enormous mushroom. And that was laid by the chicken overnight. And I won't hear anything otherwise. Whose birthday is it? I've missed something. Is it Free's birthday, is it? Free's birthday? Take your man to get his eyes checked. That sky looks lovely. It is lovely, Free. You'd love it down here. It's Free's birthday today. Is that correct? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Free Birdie. Happy birthday to you. Yep. I want to say a hooray. Yep. 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 Age shall not weary them. There we go. Birthday cake from Scarlett. I mean, I'm sure you have the same mindset as I am, Free. Just another day. Nice trip to the mountains. Sounds like you're going to try and cool off. All of the Northern Hemispheres had a fairly hot burst. Actually, what they've had is cycles. Like the recent one in Europe that killed quite a lot of people. Went from the UK up to Scotland and down to France, Portugal, Spain, then up through Eastern Europe. Sort of wacky weather. And I know it's been the same in the US, but some areas are like 80 degrees and some 120 on the Yuba River. I think the best thing that you're doing is that you're going to local areas and having a good time. A lot of people I've met in different parts of the world, and I've said, oh, we're going to go and look at these marble mountains. And they'll go, oh, okay. I said, do you go there often? They go, I've never been there. Do you know what I mean? Some people in their local area don't know what they've actually got at their doorstep. There's Johnny P here. You probably could tell it was your birthday, Fred. He's come here. He's got his work hat on, he's just taken off. Dun, 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 dun. Shirt's pulled back over his waist. He's getting out his big pole. He's doing a bit of a slippery dance for you. Leans back, tips his hat towards you and says, "Happy birthday, Free." That's the kind of guy JP is. To please the masses. Oh, that's nice, Johnny P's in his birthday suit. I didn't know they made 6-foot test tubes. That's great. Of course, JP was an experiment by the government. 70s and 80s thing, you know, CIA, Men in Black. No, it's never bothered me going skinny dipping. My wife won't do it. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Me, chuck them off, get in there. Skinny dipping with a bunch of friends years ago, and we were up a place called Calbarry. It's got an estuary type river entrance to it, and it leads out to the ocean. So we're all go chuck our clothes on. There was an old boat on the beach, pitch black, and I just put my clothes on the corner of the boat. We had a little board there, so I put my clothes there, shoes underneath, clothes on top. If you've been skinny dipping, you know what I'm talking about. And a friend of mine, she put all her gear just on the board in the boat. Well, we'll come back and I get dressed and she goes, "Fuck!" It wasn't a board at all, it was the bottom of the boat, which happened to be the sand, and all her clothes were wet. Nothing more funnier than trying to watch someone put a pair of wet jeans on. Can you imagine? Yeah, we use sort of Airbnbs. Another thing called in Australia is called stays, S-T-A-Y-Z. And we've used that a lot. Hello, Caroline. To be free. What? King Julian, did someone dare that want to be free? Hello, free. Got 2 frees in the room. Actually, 3. Seeds to freedom. There's 3 of it. It's a conspiracy, I tell you. Yeah, I mean, I just never thought twice about it. Always as a kid, you go down the beach, because you got shorts on and a t-shirt and your undies, you just rip them off and go for a swim. So when you get out, you got dry clothes to put on. I always thought of it as a logical plan. Carolyn too, did I miss? No, I didn't. I said hello to Freak. Look, there's the mystic one. She does not want camera on in the morning. Her face is not prepared for the world. I'm not supposed to talk to her till 9 a.m.
Oh, shut up.
because she's still in a dragon state until then.
No, I just like to sit quiet.
Yeah, JP, have a good one, mate. Mills sent you a message.
Okay.
It was cold this morning by about 5 degrees, so I had my mittens on, but it's getting warm now. It's just reached 15 degrees. That went from 8 to 15 in an hour. Do you know that? It's 15 degrees Celsius here now. Yet an hour ago it was about 8. So, off with the gloves. Did you ever check out that nomadic movement channel? I'm guilty? No, I haven't. I do remember you saying, I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube, but a nomadic movement I shall look for. So hot here in California. I know you get hot in the US, don't get me wrong, but you don't get 6 months of it. That's what a friend of mine once said. He said, I used to live in Nevada, he used to live in California, and even Texas. He lived in 3 of those states, and he said it would get hot. But he said 6 weeks of heat is probably about it. He said July and August, that's where the heat is. But he said, now I'm in Australia, you bastards get 6 months of heat. I said, yeah. He said, it's unbelievable. He couldn't believe that the summer just kept going and going and going. Like by November, it's about 100. And then April, it can be 100. He's like, when does it end? I said, soon. Just going to slap you, Mr. Seeds. Why am I going to get slapped? What do I do now?
I just put my camera.
Oh no, I am in trouble. She read it, the message,
Yes, I did.
in code, encrypted.
I did. Secret voice messages.
Right.
You know, receipts, all that thing. Mel, show your receipts. Come on, love.
This is not a drama room. I did watch. My wife said, go and look at this hangout. I said, oh, okay. And it was something to do with Holly Undead or something. Man, what a lot of twaddle. I mean, seriously. It's like people thrive on the goss. I don't.
No, but we do all check it out. Let's be honest.
There's a huge difference between fact and fiction. And what a lot of people do, they get a little bit of the facts, bits here and bit there that are facts, and then they fill in the gaps with what they think it fits. And then they believe themselves what they're saying is true. It's not true. It's an assumption. And I always deal in logic and facts. In other words, if I know something to be true and you hear me say it, it's true. What I see in that little hangout I saw the other night was speculation, accusation, alluring to a fact but not actually giving a fact. You see where I'm going with this? In other words, it was just gossip. So when you see the reality of life compared to the storytelling that occurs, they're usually completely different. I do remember one part of that hangout in regards someone was mentioning about someone being arrested on returning to the United Kingdom. Well, I've been in the court system in regards to watching proceedings, i.e. taking prisoners to court for charges and listening to them. One of the biggest in Australia, which works under Westminster law, just like the United Kingdom, is the following. If you're charged with a criminal offence and you do not turn up on the date specified by the court, because how it works is it's not the victim that takes you to court. That's what a lot of people get confused about. It's not a civil matter, it's a criminal matter. So it will be the Crown versus whoever. And if you don't attend a date given by the Crown doesn't say, oh yeah, sure, we'll just leave it for a few weeks when you're ready. That's not how it works. Irregardless of the criminal charges, there is a charge awaiting called contempt of court. Now, I'm telling you guys now, because I won't be in those hangout rooms with all the goss going on, but one of the things that is a very serious charge under the Westminster law system is to not attend when the Crown orders you to, irregardless of the charge. The contempt of court charge will be heard first, followed by the criminal hearing. So for those that are a little bit confused about how Westminster law or English and Australian law work, you cannot be in contempt of a court and say, I'll be there in a few weeks, mate. Just wait for me, all right? It's not how it works.
Well, we'll just see what happens.
And in my country, if let's say I was over there with Free Birdie and we're going nude swimming and I've got a charge pending in Australia, I get back on a plane. When my feet touch the tarmac in my country, I'll be in cuffs. That's how Westminster law works when you are in contempt. Anyway, drama session over. Doesn't go long here, does it?
We all watch a little bit of it, including you. Let's face
You
it.
said, go watch it, go watch it.
Yeah, you're right, Pedro. Belief becomes fact. And then you can have the person that they're questioning who avoids direct answers and fairy dances around.
Well, when you're not answering
Bullshit.
truthfully, you're alluding
Yeah,
to a truth, you're not telling a truth.
exactly.
And when people are hearing it, they're presuming, and they're, in their own mind, they're surmising what the truth is,
that's
which is
human.
just guessing, if you know what I mean.
That's human nature.
When you guess, most of the times you're wrong. Intuition's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but when you are guessing, that's all it is. Oh, look, I mean, if you try, as I was leaving the prison system in 2003, 16 years ago, we were having people come to prison for 6 to 12 months for stalking. Now, this stalking could be just, because I read the charge sheet on one of these guys. I won't tell you his name, I'm not allowed to, even now. But he was a bit of a buffhead. He was always threatening people, like, I'll come around and beat you up. Then he used the words, I'll kill you. He was arrested within 15 minutes because he was under surveillance. We have a specific federal body that looks into chat rooms, that looks into social media, that looks on Twitter. They're paid to do that. They're Commonwealth federal officers. And this guy apparently was online when he was arrested. He used the words, kill you. And he's arrested. He got 6 months. I think he only served 3, but then he got a 3-year ban from the internet. So we have different laws for different things, and that was a long time ago. I'm sure laws have changed in regards to internet stalking, but you can't get away with that in Australia. Now people say, oh, freedom of speech. I agree, have your freedom of speech. However, if you threaten someone, you'll pay the consequence. Freedom of speech has nothing to do with you being able to say whatever you like. You're culpable for what you say. Yeah, there's a difference between the legal and justice system. The legal system is pretty straightforward. The judicial system is weird. You know, a guy gets 3 years sentencing for manslaughter. He actually killed a man. And then a guy who steals $50,000 worth through embezzlement gets 5 years. There's something wrong there, you know what I mean? The justice system has different penalty levies. In other words, I could sentence, if I was a judge, Free Birdie between 2 to 20 years at my discretion. Now, that's not right. I like truth in sentencing. And what I mean by that, if Free Birdie gets an offence in Australia, it's boom,
What's the population?
26 million just about free.
And 60 million kangaroos.
More than that.
And 10 million wildlife that'll kill you.
Just look out for the barmaids. I've got to turn the camera in just a bit. Not getting you in. You're now looking at a plastic clothes hoist. That's exciting.
You can go over there now and face it there.
I
You've
can't, the
got
sun's
shade.
still too strong. Maybe soon. But like I say, a lot of people get confused, even in the United States. I listen to them saying, I can say what I ever damn well please. That's not true. Anyone in the United States listen to me and you don't believe me? Go check your laws. You can have the freedom of speech. You don't have the freedom of abuse. Totally different. And that freedom of speech is freedom of expression. That's what it literally is. It is not freedom to put someone down, threaten someone, and put people in fear. That is not freedom of speech. It's freedom of expressing yourself based on either social, economic, or, if you like, international. Because in America you can have a go at someone like Iran or Iraq or whatever. But when you get to the one-on-one attack of someone, that is not freedom of speech. I do know most of your constitution, and if people in America think they can say what they damn well please, you're wrong. There's more than 60 million. We cull a minimum of 5 million roos a year free. We kill them, if you like, humanely. The reason why we do that, if we didn't, the population would explode, and during times of drought, many, many more millions would die. In other words, it's water. Water is the biggest downfall in our country. We don't have much of it. But probably the first, I'd guess, 200 years of our existence in Australia, a lot of people supplemented their meat with kangaroo. Of course, that's not the case today. Few people still, I don't mind eating kangaroo, but it's not everyone's staple food. So there was a natural capping, if you like. People would kill and eat kangaroo so that would keep the populations down. But that doesn't occur now. So they just explode in population like you wouldn't believe. I've always believed when you talk about a country with 300 million people, you don't have unity. You can't have unity. There are major countries around the world that are glaring examples. One of them is the US. People on the west coast don't like the people on the east. People in the south don't like the people in the middle and the north. I eat kangaroo, yeah. It's beautiful. I don't show it because a lot of people would get a little angry or upset, so I don't do that. But it's a meat. Do you eat deer? I mean, if you take the head off a deer and put it on a kangaroo, you're looking at the same beast.
How about it look weird?
No, they've got virtually the same head.
You've got say it on the table now.
Try and go over there. We don't get a lot of rain here. Lois, we don't get a lot of rain. I think we're up to 6 or 7 inches for the year. Oh, I can still see my chicken. From it, yeah. Are you sitting here?
No, not yet. You can send it out to the back.
Missed what Free said. Hang on a sec. It's not gamey. The parts of the animal you do and don't eat, you basically eat the tail, which is really meaty and fatty, and then rump. There's not much left on the roe after that. It's quite a skinny beast up top. But it's great with making a curry, cooking over a barbecue like a shish kebab. It's good. It's very lean. So what do you want the camera pointed on? Blue sky? Yeah. Blue sky. Apparently I'm in instructions to show you an Australian winter sky. There you go. Put that one down the back there. Mandarin tree, full of mandarins at the moment. Help yourselves. I've got a pretty simple philosophy in life. I eat meat. If someone's a vegetarian or a vegan, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with any of them telling me that I shouldn't eat meat. I'm not happy with any religious group that knocks on my door and says, unless you believe in what we believe in, you'll go to hell. I'll punch them in the nose. In other words, live and let be. Don't enforce your opinions or views religiously or your eating habits on others. We've had people recently storming restaurants in Perth. You know, vegans saying, don't eat meat, you're killing blah, 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 blah. I'd stick a fork in them myself. Yeah, I've eaten crocodile. Bit like fish. Mixture between a few animals, but a bit like fish. We lose 1 or 2 people a year to crocs. They just swallow them. We've got big crocs here. You don't usually hear of people being bitten by a crocodile. You just hear of people disappearing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the hue on the horizon, that white hue compared to the darker hue blue above. I don't know if you can see that. That's what I call a winter sky. Now when that blue comes further down the horizon, it's nearly all blue, which is a change of seasons. I can just about tell you when winter begins and winter ends by looking at that. It's hard, you probably don't get a good picture on the camera, but probably where that light pole is, where those lights are, there's a bit of lighter blue below and darker blue above. Summer, it's just deep blue. It's simply the angle of the sun, to be honest with you. That's what that is. Well, they do lack one of the B groups, obviously. B12 is not derived from anything other than meat. There is no plant life that can give you B12. So a lot of people who are even vegetarians, not just vegans, they'll supplement with the B12. And I'm thinking, well, if our bodies are designed to extract that B vitamin from meat and we don't eat meat, the problem is a lot of these vegan activists, their ancestors always ate meat, which made their brains grow, which allowed them today to go to university, become a librarian, then become an activist vegan and tell other people not to eat meat. So it's not natural. It would be easy to say in logic terms, it's natural for humans to eat meat. How much of it? Well, in the old days, me and Free would go out from the cave, hunt down something, put it on, either eat it raw or cook it. We'd probably cook it. And we'd eat like a lion. We'd eat for 2 days and then we probably wouldn't eat for another week. That is natural fasting, and that allows it to go through the body and be processed. That's what you hear all these diets these days. Keto diet, fasting. We generally don't eat here until after lunch, maybe a piece of toast in the morning, not all the time. And we have one main meal a day. So we literally don't eat for about 16 or 17 hours a day. And I think that allows the body to do what it needs to do. I'm not saying we follow a keto diet. I'm saying that the body is not meant to be eating all day. We are truly a species that were hunter-gatherers. That's it, that's what we were. If we happened to live near the ocean, we ate a lot of fish. If we happened to live inland, we killed a lot of kangaroos. So I don't argue with a vegan or a vegetarian, but you have no right to impose your views, your principles on me, an animal from ancestry that lived off meat to get our brains this big, to tell me that I'm bad because I eat it. So fuck off. Yes, we are. We eat everything. We're the only species free that can eat the variety of foods that we eat. An opinion is fine. Imposing an opinion is not fine. Hear a bunch of Maggies coming. Oh, Mr. Crow's having a wander around at the moment, but he'll be gone shortly. Yep, that's right. We get a lot of people that put meat trays down their pants and walk out. Well, the meat trays actually have a code on them that will fire off an alarm. You know, you got a meat tray that's worth $30 or $40. We'll catch them. Hello, magpie. There's one magpie. You got a biscuit? All right, he's right. He's having a bit of a nibble. Body mass index. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? If this is the first thing, my statement would be, if you're happy with yourself, that's it. That's where the story ends. You don't need other people to tell you what you should be. If you're happy with what you are, whatever size that is, that's good. If you think your health has been affected and you think you should change, you're the instigator for change, not someone else. The crow is trying to steal food from the magpie. Good luck with that. The magpie will attack you, mate. This will be interesting. Now the crow backed off. He thought better of it. Yeah, but they do it a lot of the time. Now, I've no doubt there are people who can't afford to buy that good quality meat. Don't get me wrong. I understand. And the temptation to steal it, to have it, is there. So what is the answer? Well, the answer is to try and explain to them that in life you get what you earn. If they are capable of working but don't want to, we call them dole bludgers in Australia, but they want the best of everything. Well, if you don't put in, you shouldn't take out. That's just my opinion. Oh, the crow's coming back, but go number 2. Good luck with that. He's looking, he's thinking about it. I don't know if they can see the crow because it posts in the way. Here he comes. He's got one. His patience paid off. I don't care how people live free. They can live and tell everyone that they're a monkey. But I ain't giving them any peanuts. But we're seeing a change on YouTube. I've no doubt that this is certainly being deliberately done. I've heard of a lot of people being demonetised. I mean, if I got demonetised, I'm not going to lose much. It's fine. And I'm not on either the money. I've had the ability to have Superjet for years, and I just don't bother. You won't find any links to give me money. I use YouTube as a storage. I've got about 1,100 videos on YouTube. A lot of it is for my own interest. I use it like a storage bank. But all those type of people that you just mentioned, Free, they're coming to an end. Not only are people wising up to the fact of what's going on, YouTube are going to demonetize and probably boot a lot of these channels. That's a good thing. I mean, if I got a note tomorrow saying your channel's been demonetized, I go, okay, I'd still make the same videos. For the life of me, cannot see anyone really saying that YouTube is a job. They are bird baths. We use one for food, bird seed, and one for water. They'll be going down the back around the swimming pool in the future. Ooh. They're a brass thing. Very nice. But I'm seeing it. Quite a few channels that used to be monetized are no longer monetized. Here's our talking Maggie. I'll show you. He's sitting on top of the shed. This one here talks. Kid you not. He'll make kookaburra sounds, he'll make parrot sounds, and then he'll say, "There you go." Not kidding. I'm talking magpie. He'll come down shortly. Oh, that would probably something to do with the pharmaceutical companies, I imagine. Free. Hi, my name's Ken. I'm from a pharmaceutical company. We could give you the cure for your disease, but we prefer to give you little tidbits of remedies just to help with the symptoms, because there's no money in fixing you. Yes, I'm one of the leading pharmaceutical companies in the world, and our aim is not to cure you at all. I mean, seriously, people, we'd go out of business. Message ends. There's no money in curing people. You just have to think about that a little bit to understand a lot of the main pharmaceutical goals end is just to treat the symptoms. Why the hell would we offer the cure when the symptoms return such a huge profit? Is Seed saying it's a conspiracy? No, Seed saying it's a great business plan. It's not a conspiracy, it's a fact. There are many things that could probably be cured, but there is no money in offering the population a cure. There's a great deal of money to be made out of attending to the symptoms. You don't really have to think, do you, Free? It's pretty obvious. I mean, why do things like, give you a great example in my lifetime, and Free would know this. That's the Maggie. Yeah, we have crows that talk, but mainly it's the magpies, and they mimic. In the morning, I'll come out and I'll hear the kookaburra, and I turn around, it's the bloody magpie. We've got a frog that sounds like a motorbike. Do I?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. No, it's like I say, it's not a conspiracy. People use that word too much. It's a business plan. If you and I, Free, were head of a major pharmaceutical company and our M&D said to us, we've got the cure for the flu, no one will ever get the flu again. We'd say, right, you're going to Madagascar in a very small hut surrounded by security officers, because why would we give the population a cure for the common cold or the flu? Because that's where most of the money is made in pharmaceuticals, attending to the symptoms. That's it. So it's greed. You're right, Free, it's greed. And like I say, it's not a conspiracy, it's a fact. It's a business plan. I have to put my phone on charge. So people can give up on those sort of words. It's like the banking industry. I won't go into the details of fractional banking and how banks really don't have any money but make money out of us because we give them money. But you can be sure that every dollar that's put into a bank, it's distributed into investments 10 times minimum. It's even more now. The fractional system's a lot bigger. 50 times, 100 times. So what is the dollar that you invest is $100 that they also invest in different things on paper or on a computer screen. But banks are an evil entity. They really are. They will take every cent out of you. I'm not going to mention how much, but we have investments in certain things, and recently one of them ceased in its date. Now, I have always told the bank, as soon as that investment comes up to date or just prior, you are to phone me, inform me, email me, so I can reset and do what I want to do to get the best figures I need to get. The bank didn't do that. So I phoned at the bank and said, I'm either going to get what I'm entitled to or I'm going to sue you. And they, in 3 days, put what the amount would have been at a certain interest rate compared to what they snuck in at a lower rate. And I said, if you do it again, I will take you to court. I sent them a formal email saying, this is the following procedure. If you fail in your duty of care to make sure I'm informed about the changes of the circumstances and length of an investment, I will sue you. They have replied saying, we fully understand and we apologise, blah, 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 blah. But then you think for one moment, here's me kicking and screaming and shouting and telling the fucking thieves. How many other people just let things go? Yeah, they forget. The banks take it. How about 5G? We've got 5G in our city. Hello, Jag. We have 5G in Perth. In not all areas, but most areas now. My 4G can give me 150, 160 download speeds anyway. Yeah, that's what I was going to say about obsolescence, about how things are inbuilt into products these days just to last a certain lifetime. And it's done deliberately. Designer obsolescence is dead right. What happens is that you'll get something that years ago, I bet all of you can pull out an old electric kettle that's 40 years old and you can plug it in and it still works. You buy a new electric kettle these days, it looks fancy, got a great colour, it's got a special name on it. Ooh, fancy. 2 years later, after the warranty expires, it dies. Televisions die. I know a friend of mine's still got a 1970s television, works like a charm. Doesn't get any digital response, but gets television. So what does that mean? It's designed to fail. And you know the biggest one of all? Motor vehicles. Car companies make no money out of selling you a vehicle at all. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but it's true. The money that is made is in replacement parts, maintenance, servicing. It's their investment in you. You spend 30 grand or 40 grand with them, you get a new car. They make no money out of that, but for the following 15 to 20 years that that car is around, they make heaps. You notice on most new vehicle, warranty is null and void if you don't get your car serviced with them. It's their investment. They gave you a car, literally. You just paid, you know, and they made no money out of it. But then they say if you go to Mr. Smith down the road as your old mechanic, and you don't come to Mr. Toyota, if it's a Toyota you bought, your warranty is null and void. People go, I better go to Toyota. Good plan, eh? It's called greed. Yeah, I agree with you, Freak, but there are, you know, LEDs are far more effective these days, and they cost nothing to run really, compared to incandescent or halogen. Halogen's probably the worst, actually. But do you notice? I mean, you would have all noticed this in the change from normal incandescent bulbs to LEDs in that 15-20 year period. You notice how quickly bulbs blew. I know it's only like $3 or $4 for a pack of 3 or 4, but for about 10 or 15 years, light bulbs were blowing all over the place. Someone did a survey in Australia, and on average, one light bulb was blowing in most people's homes every week. You add up one household, and then add 12 million households. Not a bad investment, really. But it's all like redundancy. It's built in, and it's obscene because it's meant to make you spend continually to keep the same thing. Hence what I said about the cars. Manufacturers make no money out of selling you a car. They make all of the money in the following 20 years you get in their service and parts replaced. That's where the money is. Yeah, everything's changed like that. Copper is so reliable. It is such a reliable delivery of gas. Well, they still have to use it in gas because it's law in Australia. You can't have PVC or some other plastic. It has to be copper. But it's so efficient at delivering what it does, and it doesn't wear. Yeah, if you think about someone trying to start a business these days. My driver was 35 years ago, we married only reason it couldn't get fixed was they discontinued parts, yeah. Yep, that's the only reason. And they don't want you to get it fixed. They want you to buy a new one. But, go away, things popping up. The problem is, like I was saying, if you're going to start a business these days, you want repeat business. You want residual income. In other words, you don't want to just make something fantastic and me sell it free and she's happy for the rest of her life. Where's my extra profit? People in marketing want you to buy continually. It's all about advertising and marketing. And whether the product is fantastic but only for 2 years, people seem to be brainwashed. Oh, well, I'll get a new kettle. That one's died. Can I get warranty? Oh, no, how many times have you heard this? Oh, we're just out of warranty. We can't get any warranty on it. But the company will let you buy another one. A Chevy Camaro. My son's got a Camaro. My son-in-law, sorry. He spent $120,000 I bought it from the US. It's a banana coloured thing. $2019 model it was, 120 odd grand that he had to pay for the change of steering column from right to left, left to right, sorry. He wanted it. There must be someone more interesting than me starting a hang up shortly, so I will let you good people go. Nice to catch up with you. Provide a. I'm sure you're nearly halfway through a sentence there, Free. Provide a service. Yep. If you provide a service and you're good, you'll get repeat business, and that's warranted. But if you provide a product that after warranty it dies, you're a bit of a corrupt company. But mind you, everyone does it, so everyone's corrupt. But service, you know, like a painter, a plumber, someone that lays tiles, whatever, they do a good job and they get paid to do it. And generally they don't have to come back. But when you buy products, consumables, and they die, deliberately obsolete, built into them, that's wrong. Bordering on criminal. Particularly if it's a vehicle and it may cause the death of someone. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm sure you're going to find someone to go and have a look. Elbow provides a service as a laughing stock. He does, and investments are very high at the moment, but unfortunately he doesn't seem to have any investors. Pretty predictable. I did say that Norm was the undertaker and would be the end of him, but no one listens to me. Anyway, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your night if you're in the US. Tomorrow does come. I'm 12 hours ahead of you. Don't panic. Until next time, bye-bye.